do it right now with the voice of the Demon Deacons, Stan Cotten, who joins us on the Pirate Radio Live line. Stan, we appreciate your time. How you doing today?
You bet. Oh, I'm great. How are you guys today? I hope I hear the weather's cooling off down that way, so that looks good for the next few days, right?
Man, it has been a history of bad weather in Greenville regionals over the years, but knock on wood or do whatever you want right now, Stan. It is looking pretty good for the weekend. So that is a positive. We can get these games in when they're supposed to get in and hopefully see some really good high-level baseball. And we expect that out of the Demon Deacons. Let's talk about their season this year, Stan. And Wake Forest coming in as the 2 seed in the Greenville Regional after a 38-20 record. So how would you surmise the Demon Deacons in 2024?
I would say pretty good. They started the year, as everybody knows, as the preseason number 1 in the country, and then fell off a little bit. And I think that mostly was due to what they did a year ago. I had a kind of a generational season a year ago, very special year that went all the way to the College World Series, and they lost an awful lot from that. But so I think some of that early season expectation was probably unrealistic. At the same time, still a very good baseball team. And, it's got good pitching, good hitting, I think pretty well-rounded, filled up a lot of holes that it had to. And, it was 15-15 in conference play, maybe lost a few more than most anticipated. But still, I think, with 38 wins in a really, really good league, this has been a good season. And, hopefully it'll continue through Greenville. But certainly, the homestanding Pirates are really, really good, as they are every year, and don't know a whole lot about the other 2 teams coming in, but I'm sure it'll be a good few days of baseball.
Yeah, I like Wake being here for numerous reasons, Stan. I can't wait to see the grade A arms for Wake Forest and also the bats as well. But also, we don't see Wake Forest a lot on the diamond. East Carolina plays Duke. They play North Carolina. They play NC State and some other area teams with UNCW and Campbell and teams like that. Wake will be on the football schedule here in the future for a couple of games. I'm excited about that. But just haven't seen the Wake Forest black and gold here in these parts in a while, so it'll be good to kind of reunite that, and also hopefully we'll see some Wake Forest fans in the stands. So I'm excited about Wake Forest coming here.
Yeah, I am too, and I agree with you 100%. I wish that the in-state schools would play more in all the sports. I've done games in Greenville for football and basketball, but never baseball. And I've heard so much about the experience and the baseball support in Greenville, and I'm expecting. Who knows how this thing will shake out? But if Wake and East Carolina can get together on day 2 under the lights, that would be pretty special. And just excited to experience ECU baseball. I've heard so much about it over the years in Greenville, and I'm excited that the Deacs are this close to home. I think Wake Forest fans will travel well. It should be a great crowd there for a few days, and hopefully, as we've talked about, the weather will hold and the teams will play to their level, and we'll see who the best team is, and that's what these regionals are all about.
Well, Stan, unfortunately, side note, I do remember your last trip to Greenville to call a basketball game, and it might have been your last trip to Greenville to call any kind of game, but East Carolina was down, I want to say like 3 at halftime to Wake Forest, and then Teague and L.D. Williams and Al-Farouq Aminu and that team kind of woke up and won by 30. I do remember that one in Minges Coliseum from many, many years ago. But, yeah, I guess you hadn't been here to call a game in a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while, and it's such a short trip. And I was kind of hopeful. Obviously, I didn't think that Wake Forest would host, and I just kind of had a feeling that ECU would. And I thought, wow. And I think a lot of people thought maybe Duke would be charged with going down to Greenville, but I was hopeful that Wake would go there. I think that the 2 places most people thought for Wake were Athens, Georgia, and then Greenville. So I was certainly hopeful of coming down there. So, Wake's got a lot of fans down east as well. And so I'm looking forward to it. I remember the basketball game you're talking about. I think Coach got tossed from the game. So, but that's been a while. It's been too long, and it'll be fun this weekend.
Yes, sir. Talking to Stan Cotten on the Pirate Radio Live Line. Well, Stan, let's talk about let's go pitching first, and everybody is hoping for an ace battle if East Carolina and Wake Forest can win on Friday and make it to Saturday. But let's talk about these arms that we'll see on the Wake side of things, because is it a 1A, 1B situation with your aces there? Stan, you got a lot to choose from when it comes to pitching for Wake.
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't categorize Chase Burns as 1A. He's 1. He's just that good. He really, really is, and he'll average about 94 to 98 on his fastball, and probably if he can go his average distance, which is around 7 innings and 95 to 100 pitches, something like that. If he can do that, and double-digit strikeouts, by the way, he'll average probably 94 to 98 on a fastball, and he'll touch a handful of times a game. 100, 101, 102 in that ballpark, and throws a lot of fastballs. And when you can throw with that kind of velocity, then that makes the other stuff lethal too. The slider, he throws about a 90-mile-an-hour changeup, and his curve has got some velocity to it too. So he's got the fastball working, and he's tough. I mean, he leads the nation in strikeouts, and he's just a very special player, a great competitor. He's got a lot of energy. It's interesting watching him. He's away from the diamond, and when you get him away from being in between the white lines, I mean, he's kind of a calm, cool, and collected kind of guy, right? And then on the diamond, not that he's not collected, he is, but he's just very energetic and very demonstrative and all that. And I think he uses that kind of approach to fuel himself and to fuel his teammates. And so anyway, he's a fun player to watch, and he's just really, really that good. He's been a great teammate too, transferring into Tennessee, and he's just been a great guy to have in the clubhouse, very supportive of his teammates, and I think Wake really feeds off of him. And hopefully when he steps on the mound, it'll be in the winners bracket. I hope we don't see ECU and Wake go after one another in the losers bracket game with the Aces up there trying to keep their teams alive. But however it shakes out, it'll be awfully fun to watch him. But I think he, without question, on this staff's the cream of the crop.
Yeah, that losers bracket scenario actually played out a few years ago when NC State was here, and Jake Agnos had to throw a gem to get East Carolina back on track, and the ECU eventually won that regional here a few years ago. Man, a lot of things stand out about Burns. Obviously, Stan, 184 strikeouts are eye-popping, but the 26 walks in 95 innings. I mean, it looks like the guy just really doesn't hurt himself at all.
He really doesn't. I mean, he likes to throw strikes, and the deal with him is a lot of his strikes are swings and misses at balls that are outside the strike zone. But when you're sitting there, on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and you get a curveball that starts out looking like a fastball, and you start to pull that trigger, and all of a sudden the thing's in the dirt. What are you going to do? It puts a lot of pressure on Wake's catching. It really has, and it's something like, and this is crazy, you mentioned the number of strikeouts, 184, around 30 to 31% of those, the catchers had to throw down to first base to finish the deal off.
Yeah.
Because the ball's been in the dirt. So it's just, it's crazy. But I hope he's on when your fans get to watch it. I know the ECU fans, really are fond of good baseball. They've seen it so much over the years, and they'll respect. Certainly, I know they'll want to beat his brains out, but they'll respect watching him pitch. I think they really will have a good time doing that.
Stan, let's talk a little bit about the offense, and the power numbers are there for Wake. 22 home runs for the leader, Kurtz, and another with 20, 18, 16, 13. So you got the pop there, team hitting an average of 281. So is this a team that relies on power? Will they small ball you? What should we expect to see from the offensive side from Wake?
Well, no question. Wake hits a lot of home runs. I mean, they play in a ballpark in Winston-Salem that, a lot of home runs are hit. Now, that being said, I mean, Nick Kurtz and a lot of the other kids up and down the lineup it's not that they hit 301-foot home runs down the right field line all the time. They don't. I mean, they hit some tape measure jobs, and there's good power. But Kurtz probably leads the way, no question. He'll be a top 10 pick, as backing up. So will Chase Burns in the draft. Those will be two of the top 10 guys taken. But Nick Kurtz has major league power to all fields, down the left field side, all the way around in the power alley, center field, batter's eye, right field, doesn't matter. So yeah, they hit with power. You know, their team average is about 280, 281, something like that, which is slightly down from a year ago, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I think what Wake's got is a pretty good lineup from top to bottom of guys that can hit for power, guys that can hit for average and knock runners in when they get in scoring position. So I just think it's been a very well balanced offensive attack for Wake on the year, mixed with power and average and all those types of things. So I think that's one of the reasons why they are where they are, and a 2 seed in one of the regionals in the NCAA tournament.
Stan, everything, man, especially now, is so year to year in college athletics. You hope that you can build something and keep things together and go on multiple runs. But Wake Forest goes on that long run last year, and look, here they are again, and a few wins away from going back to Omaha. But can this team take anything from last year? Does that experience, you think, help them heading into the 2024 postseason?
I don't think there's any question about it. The kids that were there, now Wake lost a lot, but the few who were there, concede SEED to the rest of what it's like and what it takes to get there. It takes an awful lot. It takes skill, it takes a little luck, takes a little, things falling into place. And I think without question, Wake's got the kind of team that can go to Omaha. I just think when you have a guy like Chase Burns, followed by Josh Hartle and the rest, all through the bullpen and down to Cole Rowland, the closer, who's really coming on now. I just think that, it might be that the regionals are the hardest part, because you get into a super regional where you have to win 2 games. I think Wake's got the staff without question to feel very, very confident about that. They feel confident in a regional too, but I just think Wake does have the makeup to do it. I think East Carolina's got, the makeup to do it with talented pitching at the top. And it just, you have to be playing really, really, really good baseball at the right time, sprinkled in with some magic here or there, and then off you go. But I just can't say enough about that College World Series experience last year for the players, the coaches, heck, for us broadcasters, the fans who were out there, people who watched and listened. It's all it was ever cracked up to be. It's the first time I've ever been. Certainly would like to go back before it's all over. But it takes something special to get there. Last year for Wake was the first trip since 1955. That's a long, long, long time. And to go in back-to-back years is asking a lot. But at the same time, I think this particular Wake team has something even that last year's team did not have, and that's people who'd been there before. So, we'll see how it shakes out. An awful lot of things have to go right this weekend for anybody to move on to that super regional round. We'll see.
Stan Cotten joining us. Stan, our final question comes from YouTube, and Tyler, it's not a baseball question. It is a food question. He's asking, do you have a favorite place to eat in Winston?
In Winston, wow, that's a great question. I go to Putters an awful lot. It's close to the football stadium and the Joel Coliseum and the Couch Wakes baseball ballpark. If you go to Putters, get the French dip. It's the best. It's probably the best you're going to get, and get golf balls for your potato. They're kind of new potatoes that are deep fried. Get them with a little side of ranch.
I'm sold.
Wrong.
I am sold.
Can't
Tell
go
them
wrong.
Stan Cotten sent you. There you go. Well, Stan, I hope you can enjoy some barbecue this weekend and obviously some great baseball and have a blast while you're here. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll catch up with you again when Wake and ECU meet on the football field here coming up.
You bet. Appreciate the invite. Always look forward to coming to Greenville. Been a while, so hope to have a good time this weekend. I'm sure we will.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Stan. There is Stan Cotten, play-by-play voice of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons.